Tonight, a special edition of World News Tonight from California. The emergency unfolding here in Los Angeles County. 24 hours into this, you can feel the heat, the smoke, and you certainly can see the flames over my shoulder here. Home after home continuing to burn to the ground. Entire neighborhoods lost, evacuations. The scope of the loss here, unimaginable. Tonight, the apocalyptic scene here on the ground in Southern California. The fires destroying everything in their path. And there is breaking news as we come on the air in the West. We have now learned tonight of a sixth fire, this time in the Hollywood Hills, called the Sunset Fire. What we're learning so far. Tonight, 6 wildfires now burning through Los Angeles, destroying more than 25,000 acres, propelled by wind gusts topping 100 miles per hour.
It is like driving through hell itself down here.
Home after home destroyed by the Palisades fire. The death toll rising tonight, reports of many significant injuries. The panicked race to escape the flames, families racing to get out, some leaving their cars in the street when flames were on top of them. Bulldozers then plowing through the cars to try to get the fire trucks through. Tonight, I travel into the fire zone with a CAL FIRE battalion chief right up into Pacific Palisades. Our interview as we witness home after home burning to the ground here. We're now 24 hours into this disaster.
There's just no stopping it when the winds are this strong.
Hundreds of firefighters on the front lines tonight, and now fears some of these major fires could be on the move. Our team across the fire zone and Ginger Z on the strength of these Santa Ana winds and the fire dangers as we head into the night. Also tonight, we're tracking a major winter storm from Texas over to the East Coast. Major snow in areas where they normally don't get it. We'll have the forecast. The other news tonight, police arresting a man allegedly trying to get into the U.S. Capitol with a machete and multiple knives, what we've learned tonight. This evening, the collision at Chicago's O'Hare Airport, an American Airlines plane and a United plane on the taxiway. And tonight, the nation honoring former President Jimmy Carter, now lying in state in the Capitol Rotunda. His funeral to be held at the National Cathedral tomorrow. A special edition of World News Tonight begins now.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Los Angeles.
Good evening tonight as we come on the air here live in the West from Pacific Palisades here in Southern California as multiple wildfires burn at this hour out of control across Los Angeles. A severe drought and fierce Santa Ana winds, some gusting to 90 and 100 miles per hour, have made for a deadly and horrific combination here, turning parts of Los Angeles County into a hellscape in just 24 hours. There are now 6 major fires burning, the news coming in just as we're on the air, live here in Los Angeles tonight. You can see the fire trucks, the reflection of their lights as they pass by during the broadcast here. This latest fire threatening the Hollywood Hills, threatening Hollywood. It's called the Sunset Fire, blowing directly into the Hollywood Hills, and we are told it is growing at this hour. We are here in what's called Palisades Village, the town center here, where there's normally shopping, a place to eat perhaps. Tonight, you can see here behind me, the entire community here has been wiped away, and you can see the fires actually still burning behind me as we're on the air here tonight. These scenes are playing out over and over again in so many of the places we visited today. Tonight, these fires 0% contained, more than 1,000 homes destroyed, at least 5 lives lost. Millions of Americans here in one of the most densely populated stretches of America remain on alert at this hour. Iconic landmarks, including the Hollywood sign and the Griffith Observatory, all being protected. And tonight, the winds are shifting. That new fire just breaking out, the Sunset Fire in the Hollywood Hills, burning north toward Mulholland and south toward the city of Hollywood. The winds making it impossible for firefighting planes to take off into the air for much of the day today, so firefighters were forced to take on these fires on the ground on their own. A torrent of embers spreading the fires from house to house, a man running through those embers from his burning house after realizing saving it was impossible. Residents of a nursing home evacuated in the middle of the night, many wearing masks to protect themselves from the dangerous air, which of course is a major concern now here. More than 70,000 residents have been forced to evacuate, many families stuck in traffic, abandoning their cars. They survived, but many of those cars did not, melting in the fires. In fact, authorities had to use bulldozers to push the cars aside just to get the fire trucks in. A striking image tonight from above, an airline passenger flying over the scene, capturing the spreading fire and the lights of Los Angeles not far away. And tonight, right here, we take you right up to the fire lines in Pacific Palisades. I travel in with CAL FIRE Battalion Chief Brent Pasqua, showing us the homes still burning at this hour, one after the other. Our team tonight across the fire zone, and Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z, and the threat as we head into another night here. But we begin tonight with the images and our trip with the CAL FIRE Chief to the fire lines late today.
Tonight, the deadly apocalyptic scene, wildfires tearing through Los Angeles. They now fear thousands of homes destroyed here, at least 5 people dead. Authorities saying there are many, quote, significant injuries. This evening across Los Angeles, there are now 6 wildfires. The Palisades Fire, the Eaton Fire, the Hearst Fire, the Sunset Fire, the Lydia Fire, and the Woodley Fire. Homes and cars burning tonight. Fierce winds sending fire embers down the street. The flames reaching the ocean.
All this is going to be gone.
We travel with CAL FIRE Battalion Chief Brent Pasqua, who says he has never seen anything like this. We're on the Pacific Coast Highway. We turn into one of the neighborhoods in Pacific Palisades. This small school burning.
You can hear the bangs going off.
Yeah, the fire's ripping through that school right there. The cars here charred.
And then we see it, home after home burning.
It's just jumping from home to home right now. With this wind, there's nothing to stop it.
As we drive up into the hills, the charred cars, where families simply stopped, got out, and escaped.
These people who were coming down from the hills here decided to give up because the fire was encroaching?
Right. The traffic was so bad, they figured their chances were better getting out on foot and running the rest of the way out of here.
I mean, it's an apocalyptic scene here.
It is. You see where the bulldozer had to come through and push the cars aside so we can get up here.
The bulldozers moving the cars so that fire trucks could get through.
So we're now 24 hours into this disaster, and we've got another multiple homes in a row here in flames.
Yeah, the wind is just pushing this fire from home to home to home, and you'll see it's even running down canyon to the homes that are below these homes. So there's just no stopping it when the winds are this strong. Everything's going to burn.
We walk through the darkened neighborhoods here, smoke hovering over the homes, many still crackling from the flames. Overnight, Joshua Oppheim and his dog trying to escape the fires surrounding them on Sunset Boulevard.
Embers coming off.
Captain Eric Scott with the LA Fire Department sharing this image from downtown Los Angeles. Thick smoke from the wildfires taking over the view of the sky. The air quality tonight, dangerous.
The fires being fueled by a combination of strong Santa Ana winds and surrounding topography, which makes it extremely challenging for us firefighters.
Authorities are calling this an extremely rare, life-threatening Santa Ana wind event. Gusts reaching 100 miles per hour. More than 35,000 residents under evacuation orders. Nearly 1 million now without power. Residents here tell us they have lost everything.
It's just pretty devastating. This is pretty devastating. I don't think LA's seen anything like this before.
Tonight, the California National Guard has been called in to help fire departments across LA County who are overwhelmed. From the air tonight, a fuller scope of the devastation. A United Airlines passenger capturing this view out his window. That flight diverted. Thousands of firefighters spanning out, racing to contain the flames. The new fires jumping from home to home.
Bro, I don't.
And residents here doing whatever they can. This young man, Orly Israel, trying to use a fire hose to beat back the flames in his own backyard.
Bro, we gotta go.
You can hear the intense fire crackling.
Oh. All right,
The fire alarm going off.
yeah, let's get out of here. We tried.
His friend there, Tanner Schaff, wearing a mask, trying to help him, trying to save the home.
We tried our best.
They both escaped through the front door, running to safety. The homes, the trees, all around them on fire.
There's nothing we can do now, bro.
And then they pray.
God, protect this house in the name of Jesus. Protect this neighborhood, God. In Jesus' name, I pray, amen.
Palisades, CLA V1.
The biggest fire, the Palisades fire, entire streets engulfed. American flags waving as the building behind them is nearly gone. One firefighter with a hose trained at the front door, though every home there on fire. Firefighting aircraft dropping water on burning homes. The fire unrelenting, the fierce wind sending embers traveling miles away. Fire and smoke pouring out of this home's window. Some 40 miles away, the Eaton fire in Pasadena. Tonight, these new aerial images revealing what the wildfires have done there.
But these are sad sights, and we've seen so much of this, you know, in the last year, and then now again in 2025. This is heartbreaking. I feel for these people.
The Pasadena Preschool Academy on fire. The residents at this senior living facility, the terraces at Park Marino, rushed out of their bedrooms wearing masks to protect them from the air. They were rescued. A heroic effort by the LA Fire Department and emergency response teams across the region tonight. They are saving lives amidst the horror.
The scope of the loss here, though, is unimaginable.
It's devastating. It's devastating, and I feel for those people. I've spoke to some of them. I hear it in their voices. It tears at my heartstrings too. But like I said, at the end of the day, they were alive. They knew they would rebuild and come back better. And I just gave them a hug and I said, you know, please reach out with anything you need.
Well, there's no question you've saved lives here.
That was our goal. Yeah. That's our #1 priority.
There's no question that the firefighters on the ground here are the real heroes in all of this. The thousands of families here who at first took desperate measures to try to save their homes, but then had to race to escape themselves. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman is in Malibu tonight on the race to save belongings, but most importantly, the race to save loved ones.
Tonight, abandoned cars, hillsides burning. The Palisades fire also scorching LA's most upscale beachside town of Malibu. Fleeing families trying to thread a tunnel of fire with both sides of the Pacific Coast Highway engulfed.
All of PCH is on fire right now. It is like driving through hell itself down here. Literally through hell. This is madness down here. These homes are on fire and you can feel the heat from the flames, even from inside your car.
Hopefully they're going to save our house. Hopefully they're going to save our house.
Frank DeMarco tried to save his Malibu home himself, but with flames feet away, he had no choice but to get in his car and get out.
Look at this. Look at this. Everything is on fire. Everything's on fire. I don't know what to do here.
With firefighters spread so thin, the howling winds spreading flames like seeds across Southern California.
There is nothing left of these neighborhoods. House after house on both sides of the street, completely gone. Many of them still on fire, not a firefighter in sight. And you can see all these embers being cast. And all that's left in many of these neighborhoods are just chimneys, burning homes.
And by daybreak, the flames even stronger.
The ferocity of what we are seeing, this house that has become a blowtorch, very quickly igniting the other house. You can hear all that popping. Gives you a sense of why so many neighborhoods here have been completely obliterated.
And LA County's fire chief admitting with major fires burning around Los Angeles, they just can't fight them all.
We're doing the very best we can, but no, we don't have enough fire personnel in LA County between all of the departments to handle this.
David, it's still very much an active firefight here in Malibu. They have been working on this house for hours. Something else I want you to see, those downed power lines are one of the reasons that the Pacific Coast Highway is close to everyone but first responders. And with all of these rows of multi-million-dollar mansions here destroyed, locals and police are also now concerned about looting. David?
All right, Matt Gutman, who was reporting all night long, all day, and into another night for us. Matt, thank you. There are now 6 fires burning at this hour. One of them, the Eaton fire, racing into densely packed neighborhoods, destroying homes, businesses, multiple schools, a nursing home there. The death toll rising across the region, at least 5 people killed, and there are reports tonight of multiple significant injuries. ABC's Kana Whitworth here in California, too.
Tonight, that deadly Eaton fire raging out of control in Altadena, California. East of the Palisades fire, the blaze racing down the mountains into densely packed communities, killing at least 5. Many more injured, including a firefighter. The inferno taking out everything in its path: homes, businesses, schools.
This is an elementary school. The building is starting to now completely fall apart. It's being pushed by these heavy winds, and as it moves, it is turning, as you can see, day into night. Pitch black down that way.
With barely any time to escape and the fire closing in, that assisted living facility evacuated. Seniors with oxygen tanks and wheelchairs, some in hospital beds, embers flying around them. Tonight, that fire exploding to more than 10,000 acres. The winds erratic, nearing 100 miles an hour. Tens of thousands of homes threatened. Neighbors desperately fighting to save their property. Some stationed on rooftops. Our Molelengi just minutes ago in that devastated community.
This is really neighbors helping neighbors. You see some here with garden hoses doing what they can as firefighters have been stretched incredibly thin in these neighborhoods.
In another neighborhood, the Symington family losing everything.
All the stuff that's here is replaceable. People are not. So having the family is the most important thing.
And David, we have just learned from firefighters that it's possible that up to 500 structures have been damaged or destroyed in the Eaton fire alone. David.
Kana Whitworth here in California as well. Kana, thanks to you and Amola Lengi there. Earlier, our station here in Los Angeles, KABC, was able to get back up into the air to actually see all of this from above, and it is staggering. Reporter Gabe Santos reporting in a short time ago on what he saw.
David, this is about 10 or 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles, but it is a very populated neighborhood in the suburbs. You could see just how vast of a scene this is. In this particular fire, we've counted alone over 100 structures destroyed. It looks like that one's going to be a complete loss, and a home right next to it. You have fire crews there on scene. We have, a partial structure collapse. We saw the flames creep up the hill towards this home, and those fire protection crews are trying to get some of the flames out. It is almost emotional in nature when you take in just how vast of an area has burned and the number of homes that have been burned so far. David?
Gabe Santos and our team at KABC doing incredible and important reporting on the ground here. I want to go right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z, tracking the winds, the danger going into the night again, and yet another major storm from Texas to the East Coast. But of course, first, Ginger, the fire danger as we head into the night. What are you expecting?
Yes, David, we have a dangerous night still ahead, but luckily those winds will be relaxing by tomorrow morning. We still have a lot of fires to fight, and things are going to only get easier by tomorrow until they get worse again going into Friday. So let's time it out eventually here. But first, the setup. Haven't had rain, 0.16 inches since May, so second driest period on record. Now, we've got that Santa Ana setup with a very strong pressure gradient between the high and the low, but this one had supercharging from that low pressure system in the upper levels. Now that's going to slide over and bring a winter storm, which we will talk about. But first, look at those red flag warnings that go all the way to the Mexican border. We'll time it out here for the 20 to 40 plus mile per hour gusts, then becoming a little less tomorrow morning before they perk back up. Santa Ana at nearly 30, Hollywood 31, that's Friday at 12 a.m. So things are still going to be rough going into the end of the week. And I wanted to just point out, David, that low pressure system from Dallas to Little Rock, Memphis, all with winter storm warnings, going to bring wintry weather for northern Mississippi, Alabama, and eventually Atlanta there. So travel between 20 and 40, and then going into the mid-Atlantic and Northeast is going to be messy going into the weekend, David.
We'll be watching it all with you, Ginger. Back with us again tonight. Thank you. When we come back here, the other news this evening, a man allegedly trying to get into the U.S. Capitol with a machete and multiple knives, what we've learned. Also, the collision at Chicago's O'Hare Airport, an American Airlines plane and a United plane on the taxiway. In a moment here. Tonight, a scare at the U.S. Capitol, a man allegedly entering the visitor center carrying a machete and 3 knives. Capitol Police releasing this photo tonight showing the weapons found in a bag as it went through the X-ray machine there. A 44-year-old man from Washington, D.C. has been arrested. His alleged motive unclear. Authorities say there is no ongoing threat to Congress or to the public. When we come back here tonight, 2 passenger planes colliding at O'Hare Airport and America, paying tribute to former President Jimmy Carter. We have a remarkable image to share with you tonight. Tonight, the FAA is investigating a collision on a taxiway at O'Hare Airport in Chicago. The wing of an American Airlines plane clipping the tail of a United Airlines flight. The planes both preparing for takeoff. No one was hurt. Passengers, though, were taken off both planes. Tonight, the nation honoring former President Jimmy Carter. Long lines to say goodbye to the 39th president, now lying in state in the Capitol Rotunda. His funeral will be held at the National Cathedral tomorrow. A short time ago, President-elect Donald Trump and his wife Melania paying their respects. ABC News will have live coverage of the president's funeral. That's tomorrow morning. President Biden will deliver the eulogy for his friend Jimmy Carter. That begins at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, of course, 6:30 Pacific. When we come back here tonight with the fires burning all around us here in Los Angeles, the powerful images we wanted to share with you before we go. Before we go tonight, there are now 6 fires burning here in Los Angeles, driven by dry conditions and the Santa Ana winds. There's an incredible relief effort already underway here in LA. With more than 1,000 homes and structures destroyed so far, the Red Cross opening shelters tonight, deploying hundreds of volunteers. The Salvation Army providing emergency supplies, and World Central Kitchen's relief team serving meals for families and first responders. And one more image getting our attention tonight, a firefighter in a rare moment to get some rest in the back of his fire truck. Hundreds of firefighters with long hours ahead of them. So many of them haven't even taken a break yet. I'll be right back here tomorrow as thousands here now fight to rebuild. I'm David Muir in Los Angeles. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz. He's also the new chair of the Senate Commerce Committee. Senator, thank you so much for your time tonight. Your home state, of course, no stranger to natural disasters. I'm sure you, like the rest of us, are just horrified by the catastrophic images coming in out of California of that devastating wildfire. During his last term, President-elect Trump was accused of at times playing partisan politics with disaster relief funds. Are you confident, as we talk today, that the citizens of Los Angeles County will, in fact, get all of the federal support they need when they begin their long recovery?
Well, Lindsay, what is happening right now in Southern California is truly horrific, and the images we're seeing of homes burning, of people fleeing for their lives, it's heartbreaking, and Heidi's and my prayers are going up for the people of California. You know, my wife Heidi is a native Californian, and much of her family still lives in California. A lot of them live in Southern California, and so we've been reaching out to friends and family, making sure they're okay, and I have every confidence that you will see federal disaster relief there. I'll tell you, at a time of crisis, politics should not play a part in how crisis relief is handled, and I have every confidence, whether it is wildfires in California or a hurricane in Texas or Florida or elsewhere, or whatever the tragedy. It is amazing consistently when tragedy strikes how Americans come together and how they help each other.
On your podcast, The Verdict with Ted Cruz, you've talked about how you felt like the odds of a terror attack were as high as they'd been since September 11th. We, of course, saw the tragic scene in New Orleans just over a week ago. The attacker, a U.S. citizen born in your state of Texas. Are you satisfied with the law enforcement response? And what do you think can be done to prevent something like this from happening again?
Well, listen, we need to have full transparency. We need to learn the facts of what led to that horrific terror attack in New Orleans. It was the fact that it was an American-born who had been an Army veteran and who was radicalized. We need to discover what warning signs there were. How did this individual get radicalized? What could have been done to prevent it? I will say it was discouraging that immediately after the attack, the FBI's initial response was to say this was not terrorism. You literally had someone driving a truck into a crowd of people, murdering people, with an ISIS flag attached to the truck, and it was clearly and unambiguously terrorism. The FBI subsequently corrected that, but I hope we have full transparency on what we know and how this could have been prevented, and the risk of terrorism is magnified by the last 4 years, the open borders that we have had. We've seen 12 million people come into this country illegally, and if you are seeking to wage war on America, if you are ISIS or Hamas or Hezbollah or Palestinian Islamic Jihad, all of whom have called for the murder of Americans, this open border we've had for 4 years has been an invitation for terrorists to cross the border.
President-elect Trump will be meeting with Senate Republicans in Washington as your party begins laying out legislative priorities. Of course, chief among them, the economy, tackling inflation, front and center in those discussions. As you well know, America's biggest trade partner is Canada, a longtime ally. President-elect Trump keeps talking about making it the 51st state. Joke or not, is there a danger in upsetting allies like Canada who may decide to send their products elsewhere?
Well, listen, this is actually a topic that I discussed at great length in today's podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz, and I discussed Canada and Panama and Greenland, all of which President Trump have discussed. And I view those on a continuum. With respect to Canada, I think the president is basically trolling Canada. I don't think anyone thinks there's a realistic prospect that Canada will become part of the United States. But I will say it was an epic troll, and I actually think on the merits there are very strong reasons why that makes sense for the United States. Geopolitically, Greenland's location on the Arctic is incredibly important to contribute to the defense of the United States. If, God forbid, we were ever in a military conflict with Russia or China, any ICBMs would come over the Arctic targeting the United States. Greenland is ideally situated to defend America. On top of that, Greenland also has vast resources of critical earth and rare earth minerals that are essential for semiconductors, for electronics, for military equipment.
But Greenland at this point is not for sale, so why stake that as such a top priority?
Well, because anything can be not for sale until it suddenly is. Denmark right now controls Greenland. And I have to tell you, yesterday, Donald Trump Jr. traveled up to Greenland, visited with people there. I got to say, if you're a Greenlander, the possibility of becoming an American, of becoming an American territory, of getting the benefits of being an American, that is very enticing.
Senator, earlier this week marked an example of a peaceful transfer of power, strikingly different scene than 4 years ago when more than 140 police officers were injured by rioters on January 6th. Several died in the subsequent days. The president-elect has inaccurately said that none of those rioters actually had guns on that day. We know that he's talked about pardons. Should anyone who attacked an officer that day receive a pardon?
So, Lindsay, I think there should be a very clear distinction. Anyone who engaged in an act of violence, who violently assaulted a police officer, they should be prosecuted and they should go to jail. Anyone who engages in peaceful protest, free speech is protected by the Constitution of the United States, and that should be protected. So I think pardons are very much in order for individuals that did not engage in acts of violence.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz, we thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lindsay.